called the Business Development Unit, which does your market assessments, for example, takes your product to market as well. So when you look at this representation, it tells you about the life cycle of your research. Once you've done research, up to the point then when your research output is taken to market. But I'm not going to bore you too much about that. So what is the role of a technology transfer? So the main role of technology transfer is to really manage how to take research outputs towards the market so that, or towards society so that it can solve societal problems. Remember, knowledge generated cannot just be generated in a vacuum. Knowledge should be generated in order to solve a particular crisis within society. And again, the knowledge ensures that knowledge and discoveries benefit people beyond just academia. Academics, as it has been said, would want to publish. And that's how they can then be ranked, you know, as NRF-rated researchers or whatsoever. But the call that the Department of Science and Technology did in 2008 in the implementation of the IPR Act was to say that universities, in terms of the mandate that they have for teaching, learning, and research, does not really just end there. They must also, as universities, also commercialize the output of their research. And therefore, the discoveries that are there must go beyond just academic activities. And the key role in building economic ecosystems. And I was saying, the university sits at a very crucial point within a region as vast and as undeveloped as Limpopo, in the sense that for you to create economic innovation and economic ecosystems, you need to be on the ground and work with the people on the ground. I'll show you a model that we use, which is called the quadruple innovation model to economic development. So what is a research-intense university? I think it's a big word, and I saw in the program we did a mistake. We said intensive research universities. But in essence, a research-intensive university is a higher education institution where research is a central mission. So research must really be considered to be the pillar of an institution, because through research is where you create the prestige of a university, is where you get the rankings of a university, is where even the researchers of a university are then taken to be people of knowledge creation within a particular field or discipline in which they are in. So it is quite important that it should be a central, and being a central entity or aspect of a university, it means then that the university must take reasonable care in terms of nurturing research, and that means also putting money into niche areas of the university so that in those niche areas of the university, you can then bring excellence in terms of innovation. And people would say that this research, central mission of research is not just an add-on to teaching and other things, but it's a powerhouse for innovation, discoveries, and academic inquiries across disciplines, from science, engineering, to the humanities and social sciences. But what are the characteristics of a research-intensive university? For one, a research-intensive university should be able to get investments for its R&D at a very high rate. So because if you are now prestigious and you are known, you are not going to beg for money. Money will come to follow you in terms of the university in which you are in. Secondly, high research outputs. Faculties and students regularly publish in academic journals, contribute to conferences, and secure research grants. So within a university setup, as you are sitting here now, you are presenting in a conference, hoping that someone might see your research and say, wow, I'm interested. Maybe in the next years to come, working with the faculty, we might just try to find investors before the research faculty day happens that would come and listen to your, presentations. Who knows? Maybe some of them might be interested in the work that you do. And graduate programs. A university which is research intensive must have a strong emphasis on master's and doctorate offerings within the university, which would also by themselves attract robust funding, and there must be mentorship programs within research-intense university. Then that also means that, you know, your researchers themselves must be at the level whereby they can mentor you as much as they were mentored to be in the position that they are in. Cutting-edge facilities. You cannot be a research-intensive university if you don't have the state-of-the-art in terms of your laboratories, your equipment. These are key, and this is something that a university must actively try, by all means, to secure such facilities, because those will be the drivers to the status of a university. Global reputation. If you are a research-intensive university, you'll have global reputation, that, you know, your rankings will go up, you know, you'll get international recognition and all that. And that is key in terms of attracting people that could come and take your research. Remember, if you do research and no one knows about you, no one will come to you. Faculty researchers and professors. These are people who are scholars, and then their work is to train future academics. And it's key to have people with capabilities to do that. I want to talk about the theme that or the topic that I was saying, that mine is to say, how do you as a university become relevant within the region in which you are in? And how do you then harness that to make sure that your research outputs are taken up in the region that you are in? It goes without saying that Limpopo is a rural province. You find that only about 8% of its residents live in the urban areas, and about 82% live in the rural. And it is in these rural areas that some of the economic activities of the province are taking place in. And for example, if one looks at the Limpopo Development Plan, 2025 to 2030, it revisits the Limpopo Development Plan 2020 to 2025, which highlighted agriculture, mining, tourism as the key components of economic development within this region. And now the question is, as a faculty of science and agriculture, this is where the university should really concentrate in niche areas that talk to agriculture, that talk to mining, that talk even to tourism. Let me give an example about agriculture, and let me see how you would react to what I'll say. In my engagements with farmers around, I was intrigued to find out that, you know, as a university, we still have a long way to go in terms of affirming our strong foothold within the province. One day I was discussing with some farmers who plant macadamia, and they said to me, you know, we have a problem. They are in Mopane. They said, you know, Mopane is a tropical area, and if we are planting macadamias there, they grow very tall. And as they grow very tall, it becomes a problem in terms of pest control, because now you have to engage services of drones, agricultural drones, and it's very expensive to use such. So they said, you know, if the university could help us with making sure that the stems of the macadamia are shorter. And if they're shorter, it means the tree is not going to grow too tall. Therefore, the yield becomes what they expected. So, you know, just by saying that, for me, it said, wow, our horticultural people within the university, if they could hear what I'm hearing, and if I take them to these commercial farmers, they would then be in a position to first do research that will talk to the shortening of the stem of a macadamia plant. By virtue of doing that, you automatically also now own the value chain in terms of propagation of those stems. And that talks to creating a company that now supplies these commercial farmers with these short stocks. So already you can as a researcher, spin out a company that when it lands into the market, it services the commercial farmers. And that is the key of economic development. The university knowledge must go and target where there are problems and create solutions, and by creating solutions, then you are creating economic viability. In terms of mining, for example, maybe in the next slide I'll show you something about mining, which is quite important as well. But that being said, I know the university has niche areas. I don't want to dispute that they are capable and they do a good job. There is what is called currently the sunrise sectors. And these sectors are not in any way meant to move the province away from the initial or the primary economic drivers, for example, your mining, agriculture, and also tourism. But these are meant to also assist in terms of what is relevant now and how can the relevance of these sunrise sectors help propel the economy further. For example, in terms of automation, you know, when one looks at the mining industry in the province, which is largely, you have your PGMs, which are platinum group metals. The platinum group metals that are mined here, if the university plays an active role in such, we might just see in the province beneficiation of some of these minerals. For example, in what do you call, in terms of remission or reducing of emissions of cars, for example, the PGMs can be used in catalytic converters, which trap the emissions so that you don't have a lot of emissions out there. And this is important. We have iron ore. Iron ore is used mostly in terms of the production of vehicles and vehicles components as well. So just imagine, if the provincial government was able to negotiate with the likes of your BMWs and say to them, why don't you come and have your plants in the province? That will then do these components of cars. And the national government then cuts taxes on these entities. In a way, we will also stop the outflow of young men and women from the province into Gauteng, where there are jobs, but we'll retain them in the province. We also look at the issue of cannabis and hemp. I'm proud to say that as a university, we actively are taking part in the development of the strategy for cannabis and hemp production and industrialization, which is also one of the upcoming industries that, you know, the university is doing a lot of work here in terms of research. I can quote one researcher, Dr. Hadebe, who's doing quite good work in this space. Renewable energies. In terms of, you know, renewable energies, here again, in terms of the sunrise sectors, the university has a very important role it can play in terms of, you know, your production of hydrogen, conversion of hydrogen into electricity. We have crises in the country in terms of load shedding. Again, the minerals again that we find in the province, like magnesium, can be used again in battery materials, which Professor Mwepe is doing. So this is just to say, we can actively turn around the province of Limpopo to be an economic powerhouse using knowledge from the university. We look at, again, issues like, for example, the wild economy. There's a lot that we can do because tourism is one of the biggest contributors of the GDP of this province. There's issues of breeding, for example, which, you know, our agricultural students in terms of animal production can work together with industries, your game farmers and things, to breed for them. Now, I was talking about this model for innovation or economic development within the province. What we have done is to say that we as academics should work with private sector, public sector, and communities. And one of the projects that we are doing in the Mopani region is to work with the municipality there in terms of their local economic development and try to find out how can we turn around the economy of Limpopo using knowledge from a university point of view. I'm pressed for time this side. And then what are the benefits of creating such ecosystems with different parties? The benefits, for one, is that, you know, there's attraction of funding that comes through to the university, contract research, recognition of academics, university revenue streams, you give industry access to cutting-edge technologies, and also you create jobs, circular economies within rural settings, and technology benefits. And in conclusion, I'd like to say, don't just do science for the sake of doing science. Do science so that the application of science can create economic development within the province of Limpopo. As I wrap up, I would say we are hosting next month the Regional Moringa Conference with the Green Biotech unit within the university. It is stretched across 3 tracks: academic track, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Do register. Thank you very much.
Ten minutes turn out to be 20 minutes. I'll take one quick question. And the rest of the questions, we do have some colleagues from TTO office outside as part of our exhibitors. So I'll take one quick question. Yes, honestly. I guess they are well informed by your colleagues outside. And feel free to talk to the exhibitors outside from the office. And Mr. Lebelo will also be around. Oh, all right. He's leaving to attend another conference at the ranch. So, but he is around at campus. Maybe he can share where he is, because
if I may share, there's this office here next to MO residence. It's the only office I think that is in the middle of a residence or a student residence. So that's where you'll find our offices. You can come there if there are any questions.